Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Nier Reincarnation, they finally added the ability to play as the other character in the Sun Moon story arc. So, I was going to play it for myself, but while we're here, I can record it. I think I have all of the settings up correctly so that I can hear what I'm playing as I record. That's why I'm wearing the earphones here. Alrighty, but we can go to the map. And we go to Sun Moon. Right, okay. Up here, we can choose Sun Moon side A or B. A is the one that we all did initially. We answered that little questionnaire, and that decided the character that we got. I got Yuzuki my first run, so this will be Hina on side B. I went with Yuzuki partly because I knew that Hina was going to be more popular, being the female character. Alrighty, let's go in. And then I'm playing this post the People World chapter where Hina and Yuzuki return, so we can kind of keep that in mind as we go through. And then I think I'm going to split up this playthrough into multiple parts. Depends how my voice holds out. But one of the things that I'm looking forward to most are Papa and Black Mama. I really like their voice performances, and they have different lines in the different stories. So I'll be able to hear the lines that I missed from before. Cool echo effect on the voice there. I still remember when this arc was first announced. Hina and Yuzuki did look like your average Japanese high school students. Alright, so here we have a kind of a monolith and two doors. And yeah, one door for moon, one for sun. And then Hina, the way that her name is written in the Japanese, it has kind of similarities to sun. And then Yuzuki, Zuki, and that is moon there. A little on the nose, but... Hina and Yuzuki, the cage that they walk through is very different from the one that Fio and Lavanya walk through. Yeah, this ain't Tokyo. This playthrough, of course, is going to be full of spoilers. But we know that Hina and Yuzuki, they were perhaps separated out from everyone else. Because kind of the danger that they posed to the cage. So that might be why their cage looks different from the previous. This is a similar structure that we saw when we met Mama for the first time as Fio. Or Lavanya, rather.
やや、ひなちゃん、ようやくお目覚めかい？
何？どうして私のこと？っていうか、浮いて。
今は何もわからなくていいよ。とりあえず、僕のことはパパって呼んでね。さあさあ、僕についてきて。ここを案内するよ。
Ugh, the voice actor for Papa is so good. Such a, like, a melodious, kind voice.
あなたは一体ここは何なんですか？私、家に帰りたいんです。どうしたらいいんでしょう？
うんうん。一度に聞かれると僕も困っちゃうよ。
That translation is a little, I don't know. What Papa really said was that, like, oh, you're asking me these troublesome questions? But the English added the idea of a headache. Weird. In one of the very earliest videos that I made for Nier Reincarnation, I talked about the cage, like me not totally buying the cage. Having played other games like Eco or The Last Guardian, where we see kind of a lost civilization, we get more of a sense that the structures, people lived there, or worked there, or had rituals or something. But looking at the cage here in Nier Reincarnation, I did not get that sense. It didn't look like a place that was lived in. But now we know that the truth is, it is like it's a digital representation. It's like a database. And so, yeah, people aren't actually living there. It's just like a storage area. So that really explains why more the architecture of this world. So now I'm more on board with it. It's okay if it's just like impressive, just for its own sake.
テーマパークか何かですか？
この巨大な建造物はケージと呼ばれているんだ。
ケージ。それで私はどうしてここに？
あ、ごめんごめん。最近夜更かし気味で。
Yeah, Papa's doing what he can to not answer her questions.
黒いマネキン。
惜しい。僕は黒いかかしと呼んでいるよ。
Alright. Here, we're actually going to skip all of the battle and story. I'm interested in seeing Hina and Yuzuki's thing, so maybe in a future video I'll look at the individual Scarecrow stories. Although, I have made videos about these individual stories. I can link to that below. But yep, let's skip.
刑事を案内するとは言ったけど、僕だってただ働きじゃない。ひなちゃんにもお仕事をしてもらうからね。それが大人の世界ってやつさ。
お仕事って、私は急にここに来て。何
Adulting. That word does not exist in the Japanese. Hopefully by skipping the story, like going into the scarecrows, we don't skip the parts of Hina and Yuzuki.
魔法使いの女の子の夢。
このかかしにはあの子の過去が記憶されているんだ。でもかかしの中にいた黒い敵に壊されちゃってて、それを修復することがひなちゃんに頼みたいお仕事ってわけさ。
過去を記憶。ビデオの録画みたいなものですか？
勉強熱心だね。それが正解かはパパもわからないけど。
One thing that I thought was too bad about the Sun Moon here
復習を兼ねてここも突破しよう。
is that in both sides, the male characters are the ones that are kind of more assertive. It's Yuzuki being more assertive than Black Mama there. And then it's Papa being more assertive here over Hina. But that's Japan for you. They did release a soundtrack for The Sun and the Moon. I really should pick it up. Oh.
今通知が。よかった。スマホが使えるようになったみたい。やっぱりダメ。
あらあら、まだ壊れてるのかな。
I'm noticing that there are not anything to pick up. the dropped items.
鉄格子を調べてみようか。どこかから先へ進めるかも。
Weird discrepancy in the translation there. In the English, she asks if this is where they execute people, while in the Japanese, she just asks if this is a prison. Pretty different.
さあさあ、ここはパパに任せなさい。
We're not going to go in here. I just want to look at it.
どうだい？パパは昔から手が早くてね、いろいろと。
そうなんですか。
I heard from some Japanese players that they did not like this Papa. They felt like he was a lecherous old man. But I never got that impression. I more felt like he was just like a father who was eager to get his daughter's attention or approval.
鉄格子が開いたのかな？
But the daughter is in like a kind of a rebellious phase, you know. She doesn't want to be embarrassed with feelings from parents. But yeah, as we saw from the dramatic recital with both Mama and Hina, the voice actor for this Papa and then for the actual father from Hina's past have the same voice actor. But Hina here does not recognize this Papa or the voice as her own father. So I wonder what's going on here. Like, is this the real Hina, or is that even a thing that exists? We know of the other kind of parallel timeline or world where they fight the Legion.
ひなちゃんももっとパパに素直になってもいいよ。無視はさすがにパパも傷ついちゃうな。
I wonder if I will play through like Girl Monster in the same way. I feel like with that story, it's a lot of just Mama talking to Fio. In the first part, and then in the second part, it's a lot of just Carrier talking to Lavanya. Although there is dialogue between Fio and Lavanya in the second part. But I just feel like the main story here of Sun Moon, there might be more to talk about during. But still, in both cases, lots of mysteries.
空を見てごらん。壊れて輝きすら失った太陽だ。
壊れた太陽。ここって。そうだ。
So during the last chapter of People World, it was implied that the action by Hina and Yuzuki to combine the sun and the moon opened up the cage to attack. But as I said in a some reaction video somewhere, this fixing of the sun and the moon and the combination is all helped along by Papa and Black Mama, who it seems is working for Mama, who wants to protect the cage above all else. So I don't think that what they're doing is harming the cage or endangering the cage. I was thinking it was just something like inherent in them.
ここでは好きなだけ眺めるといいよ。僕を気にせずにね。
ありがとう。
We're still not exactly sure about kind of the true nature of the sun and the moon and what it means to fix them. Perhaps Papa and Black Mama are kind of like on a mission to either isolate or destroy Hina and Yuzuki because they are a threat. Actually, now that I think about it, when we get to the end of Sun Moon, there are multiple endings, and then one of them is...
いやいや、青春だね。
誰と誰が付き合うんですかね。
All right, let me finish that thought. What was I talking about? At the very end, we have Hina and Yuzuki like face off, and then one kills the other. But even in killing the other, the one who kills like disappears and then becomes a weapon story. So actually, maybe combining the sun and the moon was meant to destroy Hina and Yuzuki. But in the true ending, which you can see if you go back and you play that story again, they reconcile and they don't kill each other, and they're just kind of like sitting there. So that might be like a case where they are like exercising them, you know? Perhaps removing their... Perhaps they are no longer a danger after reconciling, or perhaps they're still a danger from having reconciled, but like Papa and Black Mama can't bring themselves to get rid of them after they reconcile. I don't know. Let's keep going. Oh, but yeah, here they were talking about the love triangle in Saryu's story. In the English, Papa just said it's, terrifying to be young? Totally different from what he just said in the Japanese now. He used the word seishun, which is a kind of a word that doesn't really translate perfectly into English, but it's talking about like adolescent life and like the joys and the sorrows unique to that time period. There's quite a few things in Japanese culture or in the Japanese psyche where they talk about like a mix of like happy and sad feelings, bittersweet feelings. And towards adolescence is one of them. Yeah, I think the localization effort in Nier Reincarnation is really, really good. But yeah, little things like that can be very hard to translate in such, like in one line of text. Oh, and I did say this in a community post recently, but an outside company handles the translation for Nier Reincarnation. But not just this game. All Nier games going back to Replicant, or even before, Gestalt, or whatever it was. So yeah, that company has a great relationship with, Yoko Taro and the other creators. And they are familiar with the terminology and the lore. Okay, what power is that? Alright, another question that Papa doesn't answer there. He might answer it later, but he will say yes. But the truth is that although Hina and Yuzuki will return to Earth, it's not going to be an Earth that they recognize. Fun, yeah, right. Yeah, Eco. Currently unplayable unless you get a PlayStation 2 or 3. I am desperately hoping for a remake. Failing that, I would like to have the original version added to the PlayStation online store. The second it is released, I will start playing it and I'll cover it. But that was one of the games that had a profound influence on Yoko Taro, so I think that would be very relevant to cover it on my channel. Okay, I think that'll do it for Saryu.
太陽のかけらだ。
綺麗な光。ここまで来たのはこのかけらが目的だったんですね。これで元の世界へ返してくれますか？私本当に家に帰らないといけなくて。
まあまあ、もう少し進めば気が変わるかもよ。
Okay, there was a little bit of a difference in the nuance between the English and the Japanese there. In the English, she sounded almost like disappointed that the soul fragment was the payoff for the work up to now. But in the Japanese, she sounded like much more accepting and like willing to accept that this is what this is all about. And I don't like when localization or translation kind of changes the tone of the language. It affects like our interpretation of the character. But yeah, Hina's very much a like a goody two shoes, a straight shooter. Okay, here we have some TVs. We saw like a stack of TVs like this in the one of the DLCs for Nier Automata. I didn't record that, I didn't put it up, but I did see it. So it's kind of becoming a recurring theme.
私の家にある古いテレビと似て。
そんな偶然があると思うかい？ほら、ちゃんと思い出してごらん。
とある都心の高校。窓が開け放たれた初夏の廊下。生徒たちのしゃべり声が放課後の校舎を満たす。帰り支度を終えた少女が教室を出た。
Okay, so here we are in Hina's high school. I guess I can talk about the architecture of a typical high school. But yeah, this looks fairly common. We got, what is it, windows on the side there that lead into, or look out on the hallway. We got doors in the front and the back. A little bit of a kind of an elevated stand there at the front of the class. This thing here with the red light on it, that is a, it's kind of like a fire alarm plus fire hose. And then there's a fire extinguisher next to it. Yeah, you can open that up and take the hose out. Up here, there's a speaker for the announcements. Bulletin board.
Every 一度は耳にする友達からの一生のお願い。少女はそれを聞き入れ、ジュースおごりねとからかうように微笑む。
So, in the translated English, it says that the friend asks, or the friend will offer a soda, while in the Japanese she used the word juice. Juice in Japanese is used like anything that's like a flavored drink, kinda. It doesn't mean like fruit juice or vegetable juice. It also includes soda. Alrighty. Got test results here. Hina Akagi. So we see that Hina's in her 3rd year, so she's about 17, 18.
教師から向けられる信用と期待。はい、頑張ります。目上の
We know now that they're talking about Yuzuki here.
今度埋め合わせをするからと友達の誘いをうまく断り、少女は校門へと急ぐ。社交的で優等生な彼女は青春を謳歌しているように見える。都心の喧騒から離れた静かな住宅街。
Yeah, this neighborhood here, you could certainly find stuff like this in Tokyo as well. I think Tokyo has a very kind of a reputation for being very metropolitan, but you know, you go to certain areas, it will look older, smaller, more residential. Yeah, but looking back on this on this area, this is kind of more what is it? More defined, more realistic than maybe what we saw in the Scarecrow stories of Girl Monster. And then in a live stream, it might have been Yoko Taro that said they spent a lot of money on these cutscenes. And then we also know that although the cage is kind of designed and built by an outside company, the Scarecrow stories, like stuff that we're seeing here, is made in-house at Square. Or Applebot, one of the two. But yeah, this is actually pretty well defined here. Okay, and then here's Hina's house. This is pretty old and run down. Not modern at all. Still lots of places like this out there.
ただいまと安心したように声を漏らす。華やかな青春とかけ離れた貧相なアパート。
So there, a little bit of nuance was lost in the translation. When Hina came in and said, "I'm home," in a relieved voice, in the Japanese, it's implied that she's putting up a front. She's trying to sound more kind of relieved and happy than maybe she actually feels. Although that's not too hard to pick up in the context of the story. I guess I can point out this kitchen. This here, in the burner, there's a drawer that you can pull out to cook fish. Here, this is a hot water heater. You push that big button, hot water comes out. Got a rice cooker, water heater. Yeah, maybe a 2-room apartment.
散らかされた部屋を眺め、彼女は嫌な顔一つせず、それを片付け始めた。テレビの上に無造作に置かれた親子二人暮らしの預金通帳。その残高は友達から聞く高校生のお小遣いよりも少ない。 厳しい家計。少女はアルバイトでなんとか生活費を工面していた。
So that is a bank book, which will be issued by the bank, and it's very handy, and I wish they had that in the States. But you stick it in the ATM, it will print out all of your, incoming money and outgoing money. So it's easy to keep track of, like, how much you got.
床に落ちたスーツを丁寧にハンガーにかける。父親のスーツ姿を最後に見たのはいつだっただろう。父親の失業の原因は離婚した少女の母親だった。
It was here where, like, kind of the facade breaks. Hina and Yuzuki are kind of portrayed as stereotypical Japanese high school students, but yeah, this living situation is very sad. But yeah, we do hear here that Hina has a part-time job.
家族写真。少女と一緒に写っているのは離婚した両親と母親に引き取られた弟。笑顔だった頃の家族。その幸せが目に入らないよう少女は写真を握りつぶす。
So, in that photograph, we see a kid, a brother, who has a very similar haircut to Yuzuki. When the Sun and the Moon was released, the two characters have different last names, but we know now that they are brother and sister. Wasn't too hard to pick up on that either early in the stories. Unfortunately, here in this story, we don't hear the voice of the father.
一息つく。生気を感じられない父親の言葉。離婚した母親の浪費癖で抱えた多額の借金。精神的に追い詰められた父親は日常のすべてを失った。
It must be very exhausting for Hina to put on a happy front for her father. And he is clearly in the depths of depression. But the Japanese are much less open to talking about it or seeking treatment for it.
幼い頃からたくさんの幸せをくれた父親。どんなに生きるのが苦しくても大好きな父親のために少女は今日も笑顔を絶やさない。
So with this, I'm wondering if the Hina and Yuzuki that are in the cage here are the true, like, full representations of who they were.
私の
Because they have seemed to have forgotten so much.
もう何が何だか。
あれあれ、もしかしたらかかしに記憶された過去を修復したみたいに、ひなちゃんの過去も書き換えられるかもしれないね。
そんなことができるんですか？
そうだね。太陽を直すことができたらきっと。
わかりました。私も太陽のかけらを集めるのを手伝います。
ひなちゃんならそう言ってくれると信じてたよ。
Yeah, looking at it now, these don't seem like whole representations of these people. They might be broken? Broken representations?
かけらを集めて、私は必ず。
うんうん。僕の分まで頑張ってね。
Perhaps even something created by the cage. But unfortunately, with the new People World story, we didn't get much more insight into Hina or Yuzuki. I feel like there's still a lot more to say about them. And I don't know if the final chapter of Nier Reincarnation is going to have enough to answer all that. Which is why I kind of half suspect a future for Hina and Yuzuki beyond the end of Nier Reincarnation. Alright, we got the smartphone here.
スマホが更新されてる。
Alright, and here's one of the biggest mysteries. Who is speaking here? I have a few guesses. It could be Mama, but I kind of don't really believe that. It could be 10H. We saw her kind of like in a sort of a leading role in the latest episode of People World. A crazy theory that I have is that it is Emil. Original Emil, but yeah, that's just a total shot in the dark. But yeah, I think that will do it for this video. Oh my god, that's long. But yeah, I'm going to split up my playthrough of Sun and Moon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.